Good afternoon, Your Excellency, Reverend gentlemen, including Reverend Warren Anderson and Reverend Morrison. It's good to be here with you this afternoon in this congregation. My colleague, Mr. Lundy, representing the Prime Minister. It's a privilege and honor to be here this afternoon to join you in these solemn celebrations. 180 years, has been said, is indeed a long time. 1843, I believe, was the starting date. And in 1843, slavery had just been abolished. And so the history of Mount Carey, as indeed many of the churches in the Fox Hill area, is intimately tied up with the history and development of people of African descent in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. When I was listening to the history that was read, it was clear that Mount Carey was an integral part of that history. Fox Hill itself is a unique village, and I've argued many times is the last repository of African culture in the island of New Providence, and certainly throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, which is why our administration thinks that it is most important to support the work of the churches in Fox Hill. And when summertime comes in August of this year, for Fox Hill Day, the leaders of the country will be here during the course of that day to support the celebrations by all of the churches in this area. It's been my privilege and honor to know many of the pastors, and I'm pleased that this afternoon I'm able to greet in person the Right Honorable Dr. Philip Ramming, who is the author of the Pledge, a former pastor, but is with us in spirit and is with us in the flesh. And so it is great that we can honor him this afternoon in his presence. I would like, therefore, to encourage the church in the continuation of its work. As I look across the congregation, I see many familiar faces, and I see many old friends. But some familiar faces are missing. This afternoon in particular, I want to mention my late friend, Mrs. Essie Ferguson, who I'm sure would have been here had she been with us. And we miss her, as do we miss our friend Tammy Ferguson. I'm sure with the live stream, she must be watching this in Washington. And so I say greetings to her. But one of the interesting aspects of memorials of this kind is that it gives us a sense of place and a sense of who we are. History is important because it helps to define who we are, and we should not take history lightly. It is therefore fitting, and I was pleased that the history of the church was actually read to everyone so that there can be no excuse as to where we all fit in the history of this church, the history of the village, the history of our country. Most important. And if you want to destroy a people, destroy their history. So do not let anybody attack the history of what has been done and accomplished by this institution. Thank you all for your work. Thank you all for your support of the wider work of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And I wish you God's richest blessings going forward. Amen.